Welcome. It's the Prep Extra. It's football, the playoff edition preview video. I'm Clint Robis here alongside Ron Powell. We're in the Journal Star newsroom again we've commandeered our boss's office for a little bit to escape the howling winds whipping through Lincoln and Nebraska almost as a whole. So lots of games. It gets going Thursday with the 8-man. So let's right into Thursday. Let's go.
Yeah, well, several area teams playing at home. East Butler's at home against Hartington Newcastle, and Nebraska Lutheran and Thayer Central are playing over at Waco, and Johnson Brock at Heartland. A couple area teams. Heartland lost their first game in the final game of the regular season to Kennesaw. Then Neely Oakdale at Lord Central Catholic and Plainview at Diller Odell. So all of them should be pretty competitive games. So excellent. And then in D2, we've got Parkview Christian down at Fall City Sacred Heart. That's a rematch of a regular season game. Sacred Heart has a very, very tough path to getting back to the state finals. You know, defending state champs, they'll probably have number 8 Humphrey St. Francis in the second round already, of the round of 16. Undefeated Bloomfield, possibly in the quarterfinals, and then of course top-ranked BDS, who beat them earlier in the season. That's Sacred Heart's only loss. So you know they've got a very tough path. If they can get through that, they've got a good chance at defending. But you know it's going to be difficult. And then of course we have Pawnee City at BDS, and BDS looks like the favorite right now in D2. The way they're playing, they have not let off the pedal at all since their big win down at Fall City Sacred Heart. So. And then, of course, we go to the 11-man
Friday
matchups on Friday. Class A, we've got 3 Lincoln teams. One at home at Seacrest at 7 o'clock Friday. Lincoln High's playing Millard South. And Millard South has had pretty good luck against the city schools. You saw them once.
I saw them, and they've played well in the second half of the season. They've kind of – I remember when I talked to who's the coach?
Andy Means.
You know, they had dealt with some injuries, but they had guys stepping up and stepping in and producing, you know, in roles. And it seems like they've kind of built some confidence, and they've got some confidence building wins along the way. So, yeah, that'll be an interesting one for the Lynx, who are still, I think, still riding really high on a great regular season, and now they got to take it the next step.
Right, and, you know, weather's going to be such an important factor in this game. You know, cold weather, you know, Lincoln High may have to rely a little bit more on a running game. May have to rely on their defense. And, of course, Millard South, you know, they're 3-0 against Lincoln schools. You know, they've beaten East, they've beaten Southeast, and they've beaten Pius. So, but they've lost their last 2. They've lost to Omaha North, and then Millard North beat them in the last regular season game. Huge rivalry game there. And, of course, Millard North is the one team no one in Class A wants to play in the playoffs because they're such a traditional power. You know,
that is true.
Coach Fred Petito.
That is true.
You know, those kids know how to win when it comes to crunch time.
Yeah, especially this time of the year.
And then you've got Southwest at Bellevue West. And Lincoln Southwest has kind of struggled offensively here as of late. And, of course, Bellevue West could put up points. They can put them up in a hurry.
That the West Side Bell West came from, 2-3 weeks ago, where broke all kinds of records.
And then we've got the 2 giant killers playing each other. Pius and West Side. You know, the last 2 weeks, West Side, as you mentioned, beat Bellevue West in week 8. And then last weekend, you know, probably the most surprising result of the regular season in Class A was Pius beating Omaha North by 2 touchdowns. You know, that just goes to show you how far Pius's defense has come since the beginning of the season.
And Ross Miller, one of our part-timers, he was out at Aldrich Field for that game, and his lead was, for the first time this season, someone beat Omaha North at its own game, because that Pius just controlled clock, played great defense, ran the ball, and pulled the upset. So
and they're going to need to do more of the same against a West Side team that could score a lot of points. I mean, they put up 73 on Bellevue West. You know, Dylan Plotz, great quarterback. You know, they'll be able to throw the ball. But once again, you know, you're talking about weather conditions here. You know, and I think that's probably going to favor Pius. You know, it's going to be a Chris Cassidy type of night. You know, a big physical back. You know, he loves to hit on defense and, you know, run people over as a running back. So, you know, in Class B, we've got Waverly going out to McCook. And McCook's getting back their superstater, Zach Schlager, for the playoffs. So, you know, McCook could, you know, they could get themselves into the conversation there in Class B. No question.
They're a quietly dangerous team, especially if they are 100% healthy and Schlager's back leading them.
And the rest of those kids have filled in around him. You know, they've raised their level. You know, they've had to because of his absence. So we've got Elkhorn at Beatrice, rematch of a regular season game that was pretty unusual. Elkhorn scored 17 points in the second quarter of that game, take a lead they never relinquished by only running 3 offensive plays and not getting a first down. They returned an interception for a touchdown. They returned a kickoff for a touchdown and then blocked a punt and kicked a field goal on the last play of the first half. And that totally turned that game around. And even without Cameron Juergens, I think Beatrice is probably the favorite in this game. With Elkhorn kind of struggling here down the stretch, and the way Beatrice played after Cameron Juergens went out of the game from mid-third quarter on was unbelievable. Dylan Buss had a career fourth quarter. He scooped up a fumble for a touchdown, returned he had a pass reception for a touchdown, and then had an interception to kind of close the deal.
That's right.
So, and then, of course, we have York at home against Omaha Roncalli. I would think York is really rolling right now. I think they're a prohibitive favorite in that game.
They keep breaking rushing records every week.
Right.
Team rushing records. So.
You know, in C1, very interesting matchup is 7th-ranked Auburn at number 9, Boone Central Newman Grove. You know, that's going to be, you know, the northeastern part of the state, very strong football up there against southeast Nebraska power. So, of course, Auburn rushed for well over 500 yards in their final regular season game. So that'll be an interesting matchup. Fairbury does not have an easy draw here. Even though they're the number 2 seed, Pierce is the number 15. Pierce has been very competitive in their 4 losses, and their 4 losses are to Norfolk Catholic, Aquinas, Boone Central, Newman Grove, and West Point Beamer, who's 8-1. So they're not going to be intimidated at all going on the road to play against Fairbury. So should be a good matchup. We'll have Lincoln Christian at Boys Town, Kearney Catholic at Wahoo, Bishop Newman at Norfolk Catholic, kind of a rematch of the first game of the regular season. And then, of course, we'll have Aquinas at Gothenburg. That loss to Wahoo cost Aquinas a chance to host first round. So I imagine, you know, sitting out a week, they had a bye week last week. They're going to be hungry, ready to get after it. So C2, couple of really good matchups here. Battle Creek at Wilbur-Clatonia, first round. You got Battle Creek ranked number 6, Wilbur-Clatonia number 8. You know, of course, Wilbur-Clatonia is the defending state champ. So, and Battle Creek was preseason number 1.
There you go.
So, and of course, UTAN has been coming on. Very dominating win against Lincoln Lutheran in the final regular season game. They're ranked 7th right now. They go to number 3 Oakland Craig. And that's a game that could really kind of determine who's going to win a state championship. Because Oakland Craig's one of those teams that's on that list, and so is UTAN the way they're playing. Top-ranked Centennial, they just keep winning.
They find a way.
They seem to find a way. They've been good in the close games. They'll have a Logan View team that owns a win over UTAN in the first round. So that'll be a good game. So a lot of good games out there. Hopefully people will go out and attend. And
it's that time of the year. It's get bundled up, get your scarves on, get your hats on, your poofy jackets. And get some hot cocoa, some coffee from the concession stand, and sit in and enjoy some high school football, playoff football. So we'll have all the coverage from Thursday and Friday's opening rounds at journalstar.com/prep-extra. Game stories, photos, all of it. So be sure to visit us on Thursday and Friday, and we'll see you next week.